Hey gang, what's going on? Hope everybody's having a good day out there today, and welcome back here to another edition of Middle Mondays, man, the Middle Mondays Club. And if you guys are not familiar with what we do here on Middle Mondays, this is something every Monday, once a week, we do something. We just talk about whatever, a lot of different things to sort of stimulate people's thinking a little bit. Usually doesn't have much to do with fishing, and got some pretty loyal followers of the Middle Mondays. They don't get near the views as the regular videos, but they're my favorite part of doing the YouTube videos. So welcome if you're first time, and welcome back if you're a regular too. And along with that, a lot of people that watch Middle Mondays are big supporters of the channel. I'd just like to invite everybody, if you hadn't had a chance, to check out our channel memberships. And as members, you get videos every week that aren't seen by the public, and access to my personal email address for your fishing questions. And all you have to do is, when you click on my YouTube page, you'll see a little thing that says join. You can just push that button. It gives you the information. So much appreciated. Okay, excuse me, guys. Today we're going to talk about money, sort of the mental impact that money has on people in society. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and we allude to this a little bit on and off, but I really wanted to sort of delve deeper into some of the things that aren't talked about as much with money and everything. So anyway, money has it has been a more of a negative influencer in the human experience ever since we started, trading, thousands of years ago. I mean, it's a lot of it has brought out the worst in people, continues to bring out the worst in people. And I sort of wanted to talk about my perspective of it and everything, because I really don't have a lot of respect for money, to tell you the truth. What I mean by that is a lot of the people that I've met in my life that place a tremendous value on money, they tend to be some of the most insecure people that I've ever met. And I've also seen it sort of degrade and undermine people's happiness. So from that standpoint, if when I meet somebody, or if I've met somebody that is uber wealthy, it doesn't really impress me, because I've had one of the things about, I'm not just targeting wealthy people here. I'm going to talk about money on all different levels. But one of the things that I can tell you is I've had a chance to fish with some extremely wealthy people before, just throughout the course of my career. I've a couple billionaires, some fairly influential politicians, and some people that were wealthy beyond what most people considered wealth beyond. And to be honest with you guys, and I'm not saying that every single person is like that out there, but every person that I have ever met that I consider that society considers mega wealthy, or people that I have met that society sees as influential and powerful, that like politicians and that type of stuff, they're pretty dysfunctional. When you analyze it from a third party perspective, one of the common threads that I've seen within all of them like that, especially the people that have a lot of money, is when you're in a conversation with them, they don't have a conversation with you. They talk at you. And when you're talking to them, you get the sense that they're just looking right through you, and they're just talking. That's a common thread that I've seen in a lot of people that have a lot of money. It's like they don't really care what other people have to say or their opinions. They're going to voice their own opinions, and they're just going to lecture. And from that standpoint, I think that showcases a tremendous amount of insecurity and dysfunction in those people that have money like that. And like I said, I've yet to see somebody that has not fell into that category, because some of the people that like I said, I've had a chance to fish with celebrities and television stars and that type of stuff, and a lot of them are just like that. And on the other hand, some of the people that I consider the wealthy people, that it doesn't have anything to do with money. Probably one of the most what I consider wealthy people in just life in general I've ever met was this Indian shaman that I knew when I lived in Kansas City. He called himself Red Crow, and he didn't he was a retired teacher. He had didn't have much money at all. He was very modest, very meager, uh, financial means by society's level. But the amount of wealth and knowledge and the grasp of life and the life energy and the positivity that he generated when you're around him. I considered him like the wealthiest person in the world. He eluded life force more than anybody I've ever seen, and everybody else is sort of in between there. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the influence of money. Yeah, money is it's necessary in our society. You can't function without it. Unless you want to, go live in a debris hut or a tent out in the national forest somewhere. You're going to have to generate some income. The problem that you have in there is, as a society, we have put so much emphasis on money that people, they pursue it as a life goal, more than anything else out there. And in doing so, what happens is people are constantly chasing more and more profits, bigger profits, growing, getting bigger, all this type of stuff. That's why we have so much environmental destruction in our country, is that you've got such a pro growth, pro make money mindset that it destroys the very thing that we try to protect, and they don't even realize it. But the problem you have with that is when people come to the end of their life, there's not a single person out there that, if they have the opportunity to reflect on their life, nobody's going to say out there, it's like, man, I wish I would have made more money and worked harder. That's it. When you are done with this life, that's the last thing on your mind. It's the other things that you just had bits and pieces of that stay with you and are important, and the rest of the time you basically spent trying to make money. And money is a source of extreme anxiety in our society, because I've even seen this in my own situation. It's like the situation that we find ourselves in. If you are a functioning member of society in today's world, so much of your anxiety and stress is surrounded by money. Very few people are in a position where they are where they're comfortable financially, even if they have a lot of money and compared to other people. Because one of the things that I found out about money and people that attain money, it's like very seldom is enough. It's like they're always wanting more and more and more and grow. No, I haven't met anyone really that says, I know they're out there. It's like, yeah, I don't want any more money. I make plenty of money. I'm sure that's out there, but it's like, it just seems like there's always a push to make more and more money until somebody gets older in life, where they get to the point where they see, they see past sort of the illusion that money creates there. So one of the things that I think it's important that we all learn early on is you can't measure your success in life or your happiness in life by how much you're earning. And we're not taught that a lot. I mean, we're taught to maximize our earning potential and work hard, and everything else sort of takes a secondary step to that. But I think one of the things that I think society would benefit a lot is if we simply just didn't put that much emphasis on money, and we didn't put that much emphasis on having to grow our economy every single freaking year. Instead of just saying, okay, we're pretty good, everybody's in good shape right here. It's like, it's always grow, get bigger, just all that type of stuff. It's just like today, I passed that. I talked about there was a 20-acre section of big old oak trees that got bulldozed down, here about 6 months ago. And I saw today they were putting up a convenience store right where those trees were. Guys, there's probably half a dozen convenience stores within less than a quarter of a mile of that one. So it's stuff like that. People just trying to make some type of a profit without any consideration that goes past that. So the point is what is the happy medium here that we have, as far as, the balance that you have? I think one of the things that a lot of people have to do, and they have to educate themselves on early on, or have other people educate themselves, is you got to decide what is important to you in life. It's like, what do you want to spend your time and energy and effort on? Is it working 80 hours a week, just nose to the grindstone, balls to the wall all the time to try to make as much money as you can, or do you want, or are you more happy doing something that you like to do, making a modest income, and having some time to actually live, and having some time to do some stuff that you like to do? I don't care. It could be something as simple as working in the yard. Doesn't make any difference what it is, but most of the time, guys, I can tell you this. One of the things I have learned in life, as somebody that really tries to observe human nature from a third party perspective, is I haven't met anyone yet that has this hardcore pro growth work ethic about making more money, that is that happy of a person. I haven't yet to meet them. Usually they wind up with health issues. They're stressed. They stress people out that are around them. It's just not a good thing. And in our society today, we teach that is something that's admirable. That somebody that works hard and puts in the hours and gets ahead, is something that is equated as success. And the fact of just being happy and being comfortable with something modest is not really encouraged that much. And I think a lot of this is people equate money with power. And no, it's not any more evident than in politics. The worst thing that ever happened in our entire political arena that broke our political system was the Citizens United decision by the Supreme Court several years ago, that basically allowed corporations to be called people and can donate at will. And that corrupted politics. That basically made where, politicians were beholden to big corporations. They still are today. And in essence, they've willingly sold out their backbone and their integrity and their honesty and their ethics for money equated into power. And you cannot, there may be a few exceptions out there, but, and I talk about, I don't ever mention politicians by name, but I talk about it in a general sense, because politics influence so much of our mental attitude in this country. I have yet to meet anybody in politics that operates from a humble perspective, that was not influenced by ego to some extent. And I think in that sense, if we would start calling people out like that, and start encouraging people to tap down that toxic viewpoint that money equates to power, then we'd be a lot better off. And unfortunately, it does. Money talks. I mean, you just look at our criminal justice system, guys. It's like there are people out there that have millions or billions of dollars that get away with crimes every day that you and I would be locked up for. It happens all the time. You can read it every day in the news. It's happening now in the news. Money offers privilege, and that's one of the most screwed up things about our society, that we have enabled people with money, and we've created a society where money is equated into power. And until that is replaced by intelligence and critical thinking skills and integrity and honesty and compassion and kindness as measures of wealth, this society is going to be screwed up. And it's something, like I said, that change has got to come from within. But anyway, guys, one of the things, the main point that I want to put into this particular video is, don't get caught up in this pro growth, pro making more money, pro working your ass off at all costs, think it's going to equate to happiness, because it's not. I mean, that is probably the biggest myth that we have in the human experience out there, especially in the United States, because you look at I remember reading a study about this. They were talking about the 10 most happiest countries on the planet, and the 10 least happiest countries in the planet. And they did surveys, big studies and polls in this particular country about people's level of happiness. And the top 10 countries that considered themselves the happiest in their lives were some of the poorest countries out there. I don't mean impoverished, but in terms of per capita income, they were some of the lowest on the planet. And not some, all of the industrialized country, the highest income earners in the on the planet were the unhappiest people. So what would you rather have? Would you rather be happy in your life and live a joyful, fulfilling life and have a modest or low income? Or would you rather, have all the money in the world and be unhappy? I mean, that's just the bottom line. I use the analogy all the time. It's like, would you guys rather have $50 million in the bank and be 70 years old and be in poor health? Or would you rather be completely broke and 18 years old and in great shape? I don't know anybody that would want 50 million in the bank and be some decrepit 70-year-old. So I just think that we need to change our viewpoint on money in general. And I really think for the good of this planet, we have got to change our viewpoint on the fact that people think growth is positive. Guys, growth is not sustainable. I don't care what it is, something cannot continue to grow without something happening on the opposite spectrum of that. And when you talk about people vote, one of the biggest problems I think we have in our political system in the voting section is people put so much emphasis on economics when you're talking about voting. And I've never seen that make anybody happier. If there were other aspects that people could focus on for their happiness, this would just be such a better planet than just constantly trying to make more and more and more money. It doesn't make you happy, guys. I'm telling you right now, money will not make you more happy. That having some money where you can pay your bills and not be anxious every month that you're going to fall behind on your bills. Yeah, everybody wants that. But there comes to a point where you got enough and you don't need any more. It's not going to make you happier. It's not. It's probably going to work in the opposite method, in the opposite direction. And if you're one of those people that are balls to the wall, hard charging, trying to make more money all you can, you probably need to re-examine your life a little bit and re-examine your mental state and your viewpoint on reality, because it probably needs a reset a little bit on that. So anyway, guys, that's just a few thoughts on it. Like I said, I think that we've sort of entered this phase in society that money has become a negative a little bit, and the perception of people gaining more for themselves, I don't know if it's a good thing. That's one of the things. I could never be a billionaire because I'd give it all away to my friends and family and good and charitable causes. I don't think anybody needs that kind of money. There's no reason for it. So from that standpoint, it's just like it can be toxic, and I see it's toxic more than not. So just a few thoughts on money in today's Mental Monday, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk later.